Hello, I am Professor Daniel Brinton. Here is the rest of what I learned from John Keeley. These molecules have been experimentally proved by Keeley to be formed of all three modes of vibration, the proof being that they respond to all three modes when subjected to the tests of compound concordant impulses. When in that state of neutral aggregation which we know as matter, each molecule is in perpetual oscillation, the range of the oscillation being 1/3 of the molecule, and its rapidity 20,000 oscillations in a second. It is through the disturbance of this oscillatory equilibrium, by means of resonant impulses, that Keeley alters the relations of the vibratory impulses which constitute matter. This he does by striking the same chord in 3 octaves, representing the musical, 3rd, 6th, and 9th of the scale. Of these, the 6th reduces the range of molecular oscillation, and thus tends to give greater tenuity to the mass. It induces trajectal velocity from neutral centers, or neutral radiation. Experiment shows that molecular dissociation does not take place until the molecule attains an oscillation approaching, if not fully reaching 2/3 of its diameter. This can be effected by means of the action of the enharmonic or radiating current applied to the mass, after its molecules have been disturbed by an introductory impulse, that is, by the musical note above mentioned. The 3rd represents the dominant, and when brought under control of a harmonic resonant impulse induces a complete rearrangement of the modes of vibration and oscillation, in other words, will transform the mass either into its component initial forces, or into some other form of matter. It is the study of the dominant to which Keeley has devoted his recent researches. He aims to control the power he evolves by altering the dominant or etheric mode of vibration in the triplicate flows of force. As all molecules and masses are mere centers of harmonized vibrations, temporarily held in suspension by simple laws identical with those of resonance, it follows that these centers can be broken up or divided by certain orders of vibration impinging upon and disturbing them. It is a familiar fact that a chord in vibration tends to produce a similar vibration in a chord placed near it. This property belongs to all vibrations, whether resonant or not, and they exert it in proportion to the order to which they belong. The distance in space to which this power extends, or can be extended, is what is called the sympathetic outreach of the current or flow. In this manner we have sympathetic negative attraction, and sympathetic positive propulsion, with reference to the outreach of the 3rd or dominant current of the stream, which is allied to the order of etheric vibrations. Each molecule of a given mass of matter represents the same harmonic chord or note in its oscillatory motion. The chord of the mass is, therefore, the chord of every molecule of mass. But as the condition of absolutely stable equilibrium is theoretical only, and does not exist in nature, the chord of the mass is constantly changing. Yet we must learn to control this chord of the mass by resonant induction, if we would gain command of the molecular forces. Keeley believes he has solved this problem, by the invention of a mechanical device which brings the chords of all masses within the conditions of a few simple acoustic tests. The range of molecular oscillation is affected differently in different substances when submitted to the same vibratory impulse, and these ranges can be measured. In the 3 metals, silver, gold, and platina, we obtain the proportions, 3, 6, 9, as this is the primary relation of the modes of vibration. A wire made of these 3 metals is peculiarly adapted to transmit concordant impulses, and nodes made of these substances placed upon a wire, transmitting resonant vibrations, indicate, by the different orders of vibration induced in them, the rate of oscillations of the atomic constituents. The phenomenon of rotation arises from the harmonic interaction of the dominant and enharmonic elements of the flow, in other words, the 1st and 3rd, the 3rd and 9th, etc., those whose vibrations bear the proportions to each other 33:13, 100. A practical example of rotation is a wheel in revolution on its axis. This is force in its commercial or economic aspect. To accomplish this result by molecular vibratory action, we must gain control of the negative attractive or enharmonic current of the triple flow, and the problem is then solved up to any limit of power.